Instead of giving my $20,000, $30,000 to these hotels, let me go ahead and pocket that money myself in my own investments. So as soon as I got here, I went to his house at like 7,000 square feet, had a nice gate. I opened it up. I'm like, man, you out here living like a king. What am I doing in the U.S.? With police when they see me, chairman, you know what I mean? How you doing? Welcome home. You can't put a price on that. And I want to enjoy the rest of my life and do what I want to do when I want to do, and I can't do that in the U.S.
Whoa! What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American in Ghana right now, and as you can see, I'm in the Brewery Mountains. And if you want to know why somebody would leave Kansas City and move all the way to Ghana, then this is the video for you. All right, cool. So today we are doing an interview with Dre Taylor from Kansas City, Missouri. He moved out here to Accra, Ghana. He's been building over 105 units. He also has a tour company. So he's gonna tell us a story about why he moved, the lessons he's learned along the way, and give you some advice on what you should do if you're planning to start a business or move to Ghana. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, guys, so we're back with another episode of Authentic African Real Estate, and I'm here with the one and only Dre Taylor.
Yes, sir.
So Dre, we met through Masa and Kenya. Well, no, it was a year ago, a little over a year ago. They were telling me a little bit about you, but I didn't really realize how much you were doing. It was like a brief description. I followed you on social, and then I saw the expansive space that you're building. And so I reached out and I said, I got to interview when I get to Ghana, because I mean, this is amazing what you're doing, and I think your story should be heard by this audience. So what you guys can see behind us is one of the units that may be for sale for the right price, right? That's where Dre is right now currently. And then there's some other houses being built so that you can see that kind of there. But that is the view that everybody gets. We're sitting on one of the balconies, one of the houses that we just did a quick look at. So what you're doing here is amazing, but I like to kind of get the background, like how do we get here? So I like to start with your upbringing. So where were you born and where were you raised?
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised.
Okay.
The Show Me State.
Yep.
Inner city, you know what I mean? All the things you deal with in the city.
Yep.
Mother moved us out when he was young to go to the suburbs. So probably saved my life actually knowing me, you know what I mean? Because half my friends are dead, stepbrothers killed, you know what I mean? And so she moved us out to the suburbs for a better life or a different life, and did that, went to college, played football. Messed up my knee, both knees, you know what I mean? So I stopped there, you know, did all kind of things back home. The last thing I was doing, I had a nonprofit I was running, commercial greenhouse, had like 35,000 tilapia that I was growing. I have a U.S. patent on breeding insects with fish, aquaponics. A lot of agriculture. I got a fruit orchard still in Kansas City, producing about 150, I got 150 producing trees. I had like 100 beehives back home. Mentoring program, mentored over 200 boys in the Males and Men program before I left to Ghana. Sat on boards as far as the city appointed by the mayor's office, sustainability board, the PIA board, which was over construction projects ranging from $20 million to $120 million projects there. So I sat on those boards at the city before moving over here. So
okay. Wow.
Wide range of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you get into the breeding of the fish and insects and all of that? Like, how do you get to that point?
I was learning about a guy named Will Allen, one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world.
Okay.
He came to Kansas City. He's like my mentor. And I wanted to do something to what he was doing in Minnesota and Kansas City. So I went up to Minnesota, learned from him, and I want to implement the same thing in Kansas City. So that's how I started the insects and fish and things like that. Went to China to learn how to grow insects on a commercial level. So I tell anybody, if you want to learn something, find out who's the best doing it and learn from them. You know what I mean? So he was like Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world, for growing that amount of stuff in a small piece of land. And so that's why I went to China. I was able to breed insects on the commercial level. So I try to go from the people who's doing the best and learn from them.
You know, obviously you're working on a huge real estate project here, 105 units, right? So there's gonna be a condo building with 90 plus units, and then you have all these houses that are already pre-sold. That's what you're doing here. How did you get the knowledge around real estate And what were you doing career-wise in that space in the States before you got here?
Well, my grandfather was always hands-on, didn't believe in paying nobody for doing nothing, so he always bought houses, worked on himself, and he gave them to like 3 of his kids. You know what I mean? So he built them up and gave it to them. You know, and so I was always around real estate, some form of fashion, helping them out with the property when I got old enough, things like that. And so I was familiar with, you know, how to do things here and there. Coming to Ghana, I wanted to build a house. First, I was looking at beachfront, but the paperwork wasn't right, you know what I mean, in Ghana, so I couldn't move forward. I was going back and forth trying to figure it out. And so I had a friend, my partner Kashan with Habasha. He was posting all this stuff about Ghana on Facebook and had all these questions. He's like, man, just come. And so around December of 2019, I was seeing Daddy December, year return. I bought a ticket. It was like $2,200 last minute. I found a group on Facebook who was coming, so I joined the tour of like 9 ladies and toured all of Ghana, a lot of Ghana in those 11 days, but I stayed here for like 3 weeks. So as soon as I got here, I went to his house, at like 7,000 square feet, had a nice gate. I opened it up. I'm like, man, you out here living like a king. What am I doing in the U.S.? You know what I mean? Spinning my wheels, you know what I mean? And so that gave me the bug to move out here. From that point, I'm like, man, I'm moving out here. You know what I mean? It was peaceful, quiet. You have a peace of mind, the opportunities, the people, the culture, you know, the pros literally outweigh the cons for me. You know what I mean? Being a black man, I'm free out here. And being black in America, you really don't know what that feels like. You know what I mean? To be free. I don't have to look over my shoulder. Nobody's trying to kill me. It's a human conversation between me and the police if they do pull me over, where it's man to man, we can work this out. Everything that you do in the States is a jailable offense. It's not jailable here. Let's talk through this. You know what I mean? And so having that conversation with police when they see me, chairman, you know what I mean? How you doing? Welcome home. You can't put a price on that. My heart don't pound when I see police officers. I don't look back when I drive past them. I don't get a sweat, you know what I mean, on my forehead, underneath my underarms because police are there. I don't have certain places in Ghana I don't want to go to because I know police presence is going to be there. And so we restricted in the U.S. where I don't want to go over there because the police are tripping. We ain't did nothing, but just a thought. And going through the BS, it don't make sense for us. So we carry a lot of stress that we don't need to carry. So when you come to Ghana, you able to let those bags go that we've been carrying, and you don't have that same weight that you have in the U.S. And so for me, the pros outweigh the cons, and me being in peace, having a peace of mind, having the opportunities out here, I can't go back.
Got it. You came in the year of return, 2019. When did you move to Ghana? So you came for that visit. You said you were here for 3 weeks. How long was it before you moved to Ghana after that?
I kept coming back and forth. Then COVID hit. I actually got COVID the following year during that December, partying with everybody else. You know, had to get an IV, get my blood work, checked in the hospital, stayed overnight, paid less than $300 for that. You know, which was a plus. In the U.S., it'd been like 5 racks. And I kept coming, as soon as they opened up the borders, because they shut it down for a little while, they opened it back up, and I kept coming back and forth. And I probably moved here like 3 years ago.
Okay, so in 2021.
Yeah, 2021 was the following year. I think I've been here 3 years, so we're in 25 now, so 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, 2022.
Wow. All right, so you came for 3 weeks. It was that pivotal that you came back and forth often. When did you decide you were gonna start working on this housing project?
Somewhere around that time, because I was traveling the first about 3 plots of land. I was gonna build my house out here. You know, but then I said, you know, people was coming back. I was doing tours too. So people was wanting to move here, they wanted to invest here. So you know what, let me go ahead and facilitate for those people who want to invest. And then too, if I'm bringing people here, they need somewhere to stay. So I might as well make that money. And so instead of giving my $20,000, $30,000 to these hotels, let me go ahead and pocket that money myself for my own investment. So I wanted to invest in myself and my company out here. So that's when I got the idea to just build for everybody else as opposed to just building my property.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the tour company. How did that come about, and what kind of tours do you do?
So I went on the tour, and I liked the way it was handled. It was utilized my first time coming, and I toured with that. I partnered with that company. I met with the guy. He was like, yeah, well, let's partner X, Y, and Z. And so we started doing tours. So the cultural tour Real estate tour, you pretty much get everything all in one. The December tour is a little bit more. You have parties going on at night, so there's a lot of going on, a lot of events during December, but the rest of the tours, you have just the cultural, the history, the food. We still go out, have a good time. So it's pretty much an all-around tour where everybody can enjoy themselves, and I can customize it depending on the customer.
Okay. And how many people do you tend to have? I know you mentioned this one, you have 40 people?
Yeah, 40 people. I had one before, about 52 people.
Okay.
And so probably average around like 30 something people, somewhere around there. I don't do as much as I could do because I'm focused on the real estate here. And so at some point I might do more tours, just hire somebody on to do that full time, or I'm not really doing it.
How many tours per year are you doing?
Probably around like 8 tours a year. So not a lot, you know what I mean, but enough. You know, and so like I said, my main focus on real estate, so I do real estate tours so they come and learn the process of buying land, learn how to build relationships, meet with the lawyers, the surveyors, everything you're gonna need to do real estate here in Ghana. You know what I mean? Pretty much as much as you can learn in that short amount of time that you're here.
And on that note, so when you move in here, right? So you're buying here. It's leasehold, right? This is leasehold land. So you own the lease on the land. When people buy, they buy from you, but then they now are the owner of that specific space.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. But what was that process like for you? I mean, getting the indentured and going through the process of finding the land. How long did it take you and what was it like?
It was a pretty seamless process.
Really?
Because the guy I knew, you know, he's a solid brother. You know what I mean? Do solid work. And so he wouldn't introduce me to somebody that he thought was fraudulent X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So the guy that sold me the land, he lives on the next junction or street over from this property.
Okay.
So I know where you live. I gotta go to your house if I'm gonna buy something from. I need to know where you live and where you sleep at.
Right.
You know
Good
what I
point.
mean?
Yeah.
And so those are some things I do my due diligence to make sure that, hey, ain't gonna be no issues. You know what I mean? And so he was transparent, had all his documentation, paperwork, the lawyers checked everything out. You know, the surveyor did what he had to do, and so everything worked out, you know what I mean? So I didn't have to go over no issues, X, Y, and Z. I met my neighbors, you know, you test the land, you put some on there, make sure nobody's coming up to say there's an issue, somebody live here, there's a litigation, X, Y, and Z. So it's a lot of stuff you have to do before you start building and paying people. And so that's a process that I went through, and it makes it easier for somebody to buy one of my properties because I already did the due diligence. I have all this here, and so, you know, it's hard to come and say X, Y, and Z after I did the due diligence and the owner, and I knew the person who sold him the land, you know what I mean? So everything pretty much checked out. So I just tell people in Ghana, nothing happens fast. You know, something happens fast, it's a red flag. You know what I mean? Walk away. If they ask for money up front, walk away. Get a good lawyer, get a good licensed surveyor, your own surveyor. You know, I even do an extra step, you know what I mean? But I don't give my secret sauce, you know what I mean, out. But it's an extra step to make sure that if there's any issues, that there won't be no problems once they go through this extra step.
Got it. That's a lot of great advice. So, you know, you've been here now a little over 3 years. You know, you've done a few things, right? You're doing tours, and you're also building a massive construction project. The question that people always have is everybody wants to move to Ghana, but they don't really have a plan. And they always are like, well, I want to start a business. What advice would you give to someone who's planning to start a business here in Ghana?
Learn the culture first.
Okay.
Learn the culture, because it's a different culture. We do things different. You know what I mean? It's like living up north and then you going down home to the country south. You know, to relatives you never seen before. And still you got to wipe your feet at the door, and they do things different than how they do things up north. You know what I mean? And so we long distance cousins, we relatives, but things are different. You know what I mean? And so you got to come and learn the customs in which they're used to, and then you can implement things here. And so definitely need somebody here on the ground to be able to navigate Ghana. Some people can come here and just figure it out. If you got a hustle mentality, X, Y, and Z. But for the most part, I think everybody needs somebody here on the ground, you know what I mean, as Ghanaian, to know the landscape, to help them to figure things out. It's not easy coming from the States. You don't got a lot of price tags on a lot of things here, you know what I mean? So you're susceptible to anything that they tell you, you know what I mean? And so it's a learning process, it's a rites of passage coming to Ghana trying to figure this stuff out. So that's the biggest thing, man. Come multiple times and make sure it's something that you want to do. A lot of people want to put the cart in front of the horse, you know what I mean? Like, nah, chill out, relax, you know, test some things out before you dump some money into a failing business, and understand how business work here before you actually try to do anything.
Really good advice. What are some of the challenges you've had building a business here?
Challenges here pretty much is learning the landscape on how things are done here. I wouldn't say they big challenges, but construction workers are construction workers. You're gonna hire and fire people, expectations are different, you know what I mean? So it's no different than like in the States with contractors like it is here.
Yep.
And so, you know, hiring and firing people, our standards might be different depending on if you're used to doing houses 50,000 compared to a house that might be like 200,000.
Right.
So your quality might be different than what some people might think. You know, and so just different things moving here and there, but nothing real big. When I hear people moving here, they have a lot of big issues and problems, but I don't have those issues. I'm trying to build a community. I'm inside of the community. I'm employing people from the community. The chief done signed up on the project. You know, I met with the commander and the police officers. They check on me, X, Y, and Z. And so, you know, I'm building a community. When I drive by, they wave, I wave, you know what I mean? So they know who I am. So I don't come into a community and not try to be a part of that community. And I think that's a lot of mistakes that people make where they want to isolate themselves from the people. Like, I'm part of the people here, so I don't have no issues out here.
That's all really good points. What do you love about living here and this project that you're working on? Like, what about it have you found to be like the most enjoyable?
Just the peace and the freedom, man. You can't put a price on the peace and freedom you have.
Yeah.
And I tend to think about all the brothers, man, that's locked up in jail, you know, who didn't make it this far. You know what I mean? And so I'm in my 40s, my low 40s. I don't know, I'm mid 40s now, I guess. My birthday was like yesterday. So I think all the black men who make these mistakes, they got child support, they got felonies, and they can't travel, and they can't experience what I'm experiencing out here because they've been told lies and myths about Africa that exist, and it's like, it's not on the map. It's not on the plans for them. And so for them able to see what I'm doing on social media, man, they like applaud, and some of them look at it and view Africa differently now because of what I'm posting and showing, you know, a different side of what we've been taught, you know. And so, like I said, just being here, being alive, being able to live, and I want to enjoy the rest of my life, however long I got. I just want to be able to enjoy it and do what I want to do when I want to do it, and I can't do that in the U.S.
Man, I feel you 100% on that. Where can people find you online so they can see more of the videos and the house plans and all of that?
Yes, I'm on social media as far as Instagram mainly. Dre Taylor 51, I'm on there. Haven't figured out that damn TikTok thing yet, so I think I got a business TikTok, I think. I'm not for sure. Somebody post on there for me. It'd be Beyond Investments okay. On Instagram, www.thebeyondinvestments.com. You know, if you're interested in one of the properties. So that's pretty much where you can find me at.
Okay, and then physically, where are we actually located right now?
We're in the Bree Mountains, or the town is actually called Obosamasi. And so we're about 45, 60 minutes from the airport, depending on traffic. So, you know, we're far enough away, but still close enough where we can get to where we need to get to. If we're going out for dinner, you know, going out at night, you know, all those different things you want to do if you're here in a greater Accra area.
Nice. And then lastly, if anybody's interested in any of the tours that you do, where can they find that info?
Tours to Ghana, that's Tours, Ghana, Ghana. We do personal tours, we do group tours, and we have some I'll put together for this year as far as some dates for this year. Come on the tour, enjoy Ghana, see what it has to offer, you know, peace, freedom, the food, the culture, and have a good time.
There it is. Oh, well, Dre, I appreciate you taking the time. I know, you know, we only had like one day to do this, so, you know, I'm glad we were able to come up here and get this in. This is incredible what you're doing, so I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what the condos look like. I need something out here, so, you know, we'll be looking at that. All right, so that was Dre's story. What did you guys think? If you found it interesting, hit that thumbs up. If you have any questions for me or for Dre, put them in the comments below. And then, of course, you want to share this with anybody you know who's thinking about moving and or buying in Ghana. So with that, thanks for watching. See you all in the next video. All right, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share it with your friends. All right, see you on the next video.